The following is an exclusive presentation of Jessup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
And good morning to you. You're listening to the world famous Butch and Bob Show here on this, it's the third day of January 2020. And it is 8 o'clock, WIFO FM in Jessup, 105.5 on your FM dial, Big Dog Country Radio. Now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Brought you Nips Car Wash. Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left, and by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup. Good morning, Bob. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Dogs won?
Dogs won.
We got that five-star recruit yesterday, that linebacker from out west.
Pickens looks like a talented kid, going to be a great receiver at Georgia. Like I said, they got a lot of talent coming, so everything's good at Georgia.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a special guest in here this morning to start off the new year.
Yeah, first guest of the year 2020. I was reminiscing, who should I get? And this man, I go way back 35 years. When I first got to Jessup, he was the police chief. I seen him as a city manager, county administrator. We've known each other for a long time, but there's a lot going on with the city of Jessup, especially the rec center. That's the project the city took over, renovated it, is now available for people to use and rent, and I wanted him to come in with some details about that and what it's all going to be used for, like weddings and class reunions. It's a beautiful building, Mike. If people haven't been in it, tell us a little bit about what took place, how much money was spent renovating it, and the big project down at Cracker Williams.
Yeah, we're actually still working on it, Bob, doing the finishing touches, but we do have it ready, and it's nice. We're excited about it.
The city had their party in there, right?
Yeah, the city had their party in there.
And how'd that go?
Went really good. We had about 220 people in there. We were able to see them all, and everybody just talked about how nice it was, and that's folks that's seen it and been in it many times. It's just, we're excited about it.
It's such an historic building. You talk to anybody from the city of Jessup, Wayne County, and they've either been to a dance there or they've been to an event there. The Dogwood Festival was there for many years. So it's nice to see that building rejuvenated, and the playground equipment. They had the opening of that earlier last year. I mean, it's just a very nice facility, but a lot of people want to know, like, as you mentioned, it's going to be used for a lot of things. Like I said, all these other events that are going to these other places, the city of Jessup wants to try to bring some of those events to that center. Is that correct? So tell us how you go about it.
It's going to be used for basically all the events that used to happen there. Probably the biggest use back 20-25 years ago were the dances after the football games. Well, I don't know if they do that a lot anymore, but that's one reason everybody's so familiar with that building. You grew up in that building, and there's a lot of pride in that building, and everybody's pretty excited about it that I've talked to, and everybody that walks in says, wow, this is nice. So, we spent a good bit of money on it, and we got a little bit left to spend on it. We're in the, 300,000+ range right now, and we're going to redo the pool, as we talked about. We're waiting on the grant to come in. Whose fault is it? I don't know that we can really say that it's anybody's fault. It was a grant that come through the federal government down to the state, like most grants do. And the feds say that the state put some clause in there that they didn't like, and they're having to change it. So, is timing important? I don't know that it is. At my age, I'm not sure.
And how much is the grant for? $100,000?
It's $100,000, yeah.
And the city will match that? Is how that works? Or?
No, actually, we will match 8% of it. But $100,000 is going to go a long ways in putting that pool back in condition where we can use it. What we're going to do, of course, first thing we're going to take the dirt out. We're thinking that we're going to go in and make it a 4-foot pool all the way through, so we don't have a deep end. Deep ends are, if you got a competition pool, you really don't need the deep end. You need just a swim area, and the diving issue has gone away because of liability issues. So you don't need a pool that deep. And there's a safety factor also with a 4-foot pool. You can, you don't have to, if you got a 5-foot lifeguard, he can walk out there and save the people. So there's a lot of good things about it. You and I could even lifeguard up there, I guess. We'll get us a part-time job. But there's a lot of pluses. I don't know that that's going to be the perfect thing to do, but I think it's going to be a good thing to do.
Well, also you can play, if you wanted to, you can do games out there at 4 foot.
That's right.
Volleyball and things of that sort. Make a competition pool that way, too, for different type of games.
That's right. There's a lot of things. And I think there's a big safety factor, with the older folks.
Us older folks, we get worried about them defense.
You can walk all the way through.
The last meeting I went to, they're deciding how they're going to use the building, how they're going to rent the building. The city commissioners decided that if you're inside the city limits of Jessup, you're going to get a discount, whereas you're outside the city limits. Explain that a little bit. Why
well,
we're
using, I think their idea is that we're using city funds to rebuild and renovate, and they want the city taxpayer to get an advantage. How's it going to work? I'm not sure. It's going to be a little bit of a nightmare for us, I'm sure, and that's my first thought. Wow, what's this going to do to us at City Hall? But we'll get through it. If that's what they want to do, we'll make it work. Is there going to be some fraud? Yeah, probably. If somebody from one of my good friends from outside wanted to rent it from outside the city, would they come to me and get me to rent it for them? We got ways to check that. We know most of the people here, and we hope that don't happen. Pay that little extra. It's a nice building. It's gonna be where you can afford it, and we did use city taxpayers' money to rebuild it. So, there's this. Is that a great idea? Yeah, maybe so. You give back to the people that do the stuff. So,
who's in charge of renting it out, though? How's that work? If somebody has a reunion or something coming up, what's the process? Who do they contact?
You'll be calling City Hall and talk to Molly Hall, and we're doing the final in our meeting on Tuesday. We'll okay the final agreement and the final costs and everything, and it'll be printed, and maybe we'll come back out here and tell you exactly. Well, you can get it at the meeting. It's going to be reasonable. We got a lot of equipment in there that you can use.
That's easy to remember. Molly Hall is City Hall, right?
That's right. That's right. The air conditioner works great.
Somebody said they're going to have a PA system. Is that correct?
We're going to have a PA system. I
think that was a lot of talk Tuesday. You worry about somebody tearing up the PA system.
Well, and there's ways to. You go in and check it before. There's going to be a good bit of work from Molly's side. You go in and check it before. They pay an extra fee to use that equipment, and we go in and check it afterward. Now, who's going to go down there every weekend? Well, we're working out those details. And there's going to be a cleanup fee, and we're going to put it in with the rental fee, and we're going to, we want them to leave it as they found it, and we go in and find it. It's not left that way. Then we'll have somebody come in on the weekend and clean it up. And we're working out the details right now to use some of my employees at City Hall or in other departments to do some of that work. It gives those guys an advantage to supplement their income, and they have pride in that building. If we go out and get a cleaning company to come in, it's going to cost a lot of money. I think we can save some money by doing this, and I think my folks, I have confidence in them, and I think they'll take pride enough in the building that they'll keep it really clean, and I think it'll work. If it don't work, guess what? We change our plans.
Let's go back to the pool, because something came up the last couple of meetings just kind of threw me, because I thought the story was that the pool had a leak, and that's why they closed it and all that. But both you and the mayor stated publicly that there was no leak. So
that might have slipped. I don't want to try to make anybody look bad, but I went back and checked the records the last 10 years before the pool was closed. There was not a huge leak in there. Some of the water got out. you know, when a kid goes in and walks out, he takes a certain amount of water out with his suit, his bathing suit, and it drips on the edge, and that disappears. Evaporation takes a good bit of water out. The splashing takes a good bit of water out. A lot of different things, but there was not a huge leak. Some, but I checked them all the way back. It was normal, basically, for a pool that size.
What will the pool be made out of? Will it be a concrete type of material, or will it be what?
It'll be a concrete background with a liner.
With a liner,
a vinyl liner,
okay.
And we've checked. We've done all our homework. We've checked, and we can put that liner in there, and it will be a good structure. It will hold. And what I was really worried about is when you put that liner on the outside, it would make the pool actually too short for swim events. And if you go a half-inch short, the times increase, and you can't use those times to compete.
Just dig it a half-inch deeper.
No, I'm talking about it's short from
you're talking about end to end. Yeah.
And I
right.
tell you, I know a lot about swimming. I'm not a swimmer. I'm not a good swimmer at all. But Mickey and Chad both swam, and when you swim in 25-foot distance, and you cut a tenth of a second off your time, it's pretty big. If you got a little short pool, you can do it. It's amazing how that happens.
So what's going to be done? Is it going to be, half an inch or a quarter inch?
No, it's going to be fine. Actually, we figured our pool was a little bit longer than.
Well, good.
Than
so it works out fine.
Yeah, than it is usually used. So that's why Mickey's time wasn't as good as I wanted them to be, I guess.
Well, we're in the first week of January, so everybody keeps asking, what's the time frame? Now, when will we see a pool open at Crack Organs?
As soon as we get the funding and the grant figured out, state and federal wise, we're ready to start. I'm ready to start now. I'm ready to get that dirt out. I'm ready to get it.
How long will it take to get the dirt out? Who's going to be tasked with that?
It won't. It will do it. We're going to do it in house, and
Mike's already got a shovel ready to go.
Yeah.
Where do we take the dirt to?
We'll use that dirt. That's new dirt.
Always use dirt.
Is it new dirt or old dirt?
That's not old dirt. That's new dirt.
That's still one of my favorites.
It's sitting that pool and clean.
Shag Riot, they were accusing them of getting dirt for people, and I asked him here, I said,
new.
Shag, what about that dirt? He said, don't worry about that dirt, Bob. That's old dirt.
That's old dirt.
It hadn't been made recently.
I didn't know there's a difference between old dirt and new dirt. But, I learn something new every day on this show.
I don't think we create a lot of dirt. I think some blows away, we create some with mulch, but I don't know if it's new.
Well, like I said, you've been county administrator, city manager. You've been back and forth. You've been through it a long time. You've seen the ups and downs, the good times. We talk about this on the show all the time. We're one county. We're all in this together. We all need to be in this together, and you've seen it work both ways. When we work together, things get done. When we don't work together, things don't seem to get done at all. So right now it seems like there's some tension between the city and the county. The mayor says he hopes that can work out. I know the service agreement meetings have gone pretty well, but you think the city and county can come, animal control?
We have to. We're one big happy family, and we have to work like that. A family that's arguing don't get much done. So, that's been my goal ever since I've been here. My mom and my dad taught me to get along, and that's what I want to do. That's what we need to do. I don't like controversy at all. And I think we can get there. We started out with service delivery strategy, and maybe this is a good issue to get us all back on the same page and working to try to recruit people to come into Wayne County or whatever. So we're kind of figuring out who needs to do what to whom. And in service delivery, we started out bumping our heads pretty bad, and I come out of several of those meetings. I don't know if you were at the first meetings, but I was pretty hot with some issues. But it's calmed down. We're seeing basically how we need to do that and who is in charge of what. And we got some huge issues, and issues change all the time. We're coming up on discussion on fire service, and ISO ratings is changing what we can do as a city. So, I know the situation the county's in. I hate that, but, I'm willing to do everything I can to try to help them work their situation out. And they can do it. They can do it. I've been there. I know we can do it.
Speaking of fire, one of the saddest stories a couple of years when downtown Jessup caught on fire, and we got all that assistance from all those firefighters from other areas, and they talked about the fire with the ladders and things like that, and the city, I think, was looking into possibly getting, where we stand on that.
We don't, our department is not big enough to run a ladder truck. You have to have several extra men. And we're looking at an idea, and it might be the situation in the next year or so where we have to put some extra firemen on. But, all that comes down to expense. Probably 80% of our budget is labor. And when you put extra people on, you got all the costs that falls with it, all the fringe benefits and everything that come with it. And our benefits, our salaries are not that high, but our benefits are good. So it almost doubles what your initial salary is. So,
what's the reason for possibly more firemen in the future?
Well, it's all about insurance and saving people on insurance.
Okay.
And, there's certain things that they're requiring us to do. If we go into a certain area, we have to have so many people on that truck, and we have to have a water supply truck following, and we don't have enough people right now to do that, and we're going to have to put somebody on where we can work that out with the county or not. It remains to be seen, but I hope we can. There's the thing about fire service is your ISO rating. If you live right outside the city and you have an ISO rating of 5 now or 4 now, and it goes up to, say, 8, your fire cost, your cost of insurance is going to pretty close double. And if it goes up to 10, wow, you really going to pay a big bill then. So our job as a government agency, and I think the county's job, whether they choose to accept it or not, is to do everything they can do with government funds to try to decrease your insurance cost. And it's going to be tough on them right now in the situation they're in, but I think we have to work toward that goal.
All right, you're listening to WIFO FM in Jessup 105.5 on your FM dial. World famous Butch and Bob Show for this Friday morning. City manager of Jessup, Mike Deal, our special guest. Bob?
Yeah, we say on this show all the time, it's always about the money. And
it's always about money.
But watching you,
money rules.
I'm trying to give you a call here. I said, and all the time I've known you, your attitude is, if you don't have to spend it, we're not going to spend it. I mean, you've always been tight with money. You've always been tight with budgets. So, why is it that the city doesn't have to borrow any money? The school system doesn't have to borrow money, but the county's still in that situation with it to borrow. Is it that big of a?
Bob, I'm going to answer that the way I choose to answer it. I guess when I leave here, my legacy was that guy was so tight he squeaked. And that's not something you want to take with you. But I've had the
seen you at different meetings on both sides tell people that we don't need to be spending that money.
Yeah,
we need to be stringent with our taxpayers' money.
Don't spend good after bad. Choose what you're going to do and choose wisely and try to get to that vision and try to get to that goal. That's been, I had to do that personally, and I just bring that over. The city is not a place where you go in there and spend everything to try to make yourself look good or try to make the city look good when you don't have that money. You got to have it in hand, and you need a reserve in hand. You got you spend out of your front pocket, you put some in your back pocket for a rainy day fund, and that's important. And I think the county can get there. I'm hoping they can get there and maybe come back and reduce some of those taxes. We just when I initially went to work with the county, we just increased taxes by a couple of mills, so it made it much easier for me run that government. But we run lean and mean, and I think that's what the people want to do. They want to make sure that you got enough money to do what you want to do, and if you don't have, then you don't want to do it. So that's been my philosophy. That's what I try to do. You got to be able to see what you got, and then you plan what you're going to do with what you got.
One thing I noticed at these meetings recently, like the past 8-9 months, every time they have the financial report, what they talk about is the city's in good shape because they have good people working for it. That your city workers do a great job for it.
We do have good workers, and all of my guys. And you go back to that tight thing, and I really don't want to be known for that, but if that's what I have to be known for, I guess it's okay. My guys know how tight I am. It's not that they don't come to me and ask me for stuff, but I've got to the place and point, and we are in pretty good shape financially with the city, but I've gotten to the point where one of my department heads comes in my office and asks or makes a request. I give them certain goals. Is that your top priority for what we need? Is it a need for the entire city? Before I go before the commissioners and ask for this, how are we going to look when we ask for it? What are they going to say? What are they going to think? And if it's a need, if we can judge not only the department head and I, but if city council is going to agree with us when we go in there, we want to know that result before we go in there. If they're going to laugh aside the room, we're not taking it before them. That's a wish that you have. You wish you had certain things to work with. Do you really need them? Is it going to make your work easier? Is it going to make your work better? Is it going to make the city better? Don't come to me with a dream unless we can make it work out and see that it's the common sense thing and the best thing for the city. So,
can you get that policy up to Washington, D.C.?
That's a joke.
You've worked with a lot of people. I got to compliment the mayor. The mayor just seems to be Johnny on the spot, doing a great job. Your thoughts on your mayor?
He's the greatest mayor in the state, by far, Bob. He's the man.
Well, I concur, but
he's my right-hand man.
A lot of people. So
he's my right-hand man. I'm his left-hand man. We have a great relationship. I talk to managers all over all the time, and they have issues with their boards and with their mayors, and we have a great board. They're pretty easy to get along with. Do I get everything rubber stamped when I take for them? No, far from it. I get abused sometimes, but they're good guys, and they look at the common sense approach. And if we take them something that's important, and my mayor, we spend a lot of time together, and we talk over issues that nobody ever know we talk over, but we go back into, he calls me. I appreciate that. He gets my input. He's always, and this is a great characteristic of David Earl. If we're off in a crowd together and I come walking up, he said, "Oh, there comes my boss." Well, that don't really mean anything. We know, everybody knows who's boss. But it does. It's a pretty good way to pump you up and get you really going. So he's just a great guy.
All right. Jonathan asked the question the other day. I swear, $100 a year seems like why is it $100 a year?
You're gonna get me in trouble.
I'm like John.
No, Mike has nothing to do. You don't have anything to do with that. That's just a set
I'm just curious
salary.
Why the mayor of Oda makes more, the mayor of Scriven makes more. Why is the city just a mayor's salary?
Yeah, he gets $10 or $15 a week for expenses.
Okay.
So
he gets a Happy Meal every week.
He gets a Happy Meal, and if we go out, I pay. I use city credit card. I pay for his meal, so he's pretty good. He would do it if he had to pay $100 a year. He's a good guy.
The other thing I want to just compliment the city on. We just got through the holidays, but the downtown area decorations are just incredible to drive. I drive that. That's my route to work every morning. But to come to Cherry Street and see the the downtown lit up like it is and the decorations. I mean, it's just a very beautiful city in the holiday season.
Yeah, it is. What my goal is to, and I didn't put up a single light, you know that, but I have guys that do it for me. But we want to give you something, especially during the Christmas season, that you can enjoy. You can giggle about as you ride through, like the snowmen or whatever. And we just want you to be happy during that season. And it's a great season, and what we celebrate is great. And we want everybody to get that feeling when they ride through town. The greatest compliment I guess I've had in years is I went to one of my nephew's weddings recently, and I saw a cousin that I hadn't talked to in probably 25 years, and he said, y'all have a beautiful downtown. We love to ride through Jessup and just look around and see what's going on, and no other towns around can match what y'all do. Well, I guess that's the reason we do it, Bob. It is good. We do the few extra things downtown. We do a good bit of decorating, and we do the snowman contest, and we do the scarecrow contest, and we're looking for a few more during summer. And one thing that I was told when we were talking about is that costs those guys downtown to do that stuff. Now, that's about advertising. That's about advertising your store. That's about how people take pride in your community. So
yeah, you could have a Patriot 4th of July, with a favorite founding father or something like that,
That's right. There's tons of things out there that you can do, and you never wear that out. We want people to, and what we're doing right now is we got clubs from the school. We got clubs all over town that are coming downtown on Cherry Street and doing that stuff. And it's all good.
We know in 2020, one of the goals is to finish up the Crack Williams Recreation Center for the city of Jessup. What other goals are on the horizon for 2020 for the city of Jessup that city manager Mike Dill's working on?
Yeah, first and foremost, we're going to try to finish painting the trestle. That's been a little bit of a nightmare. We had to jump through so many hoops trying to get that thing painted, working with the railroad. We want to clean up the Broad Street where the railroad has dumped their trash out there for the last 30 years because they got mad with us. We have that repaired now. We're trying to be good friends with the railroad, trying to work with them and they have agreed to move that out of town and move it to another area. So that will be fixed up. We want to eventually do a park there. It's going to be real nice.
The goal is to bring the Dogwood Festival back to the downtown area once that area.
Did you see the outline of what we were going to do on Broad Street? Yeah, it's pretty nice. We got some guys that are wanting. Well, the power company, Alan Volsky, a good friend of mine, Alan wants to come in and get his folks involved and do a lot of work down there.
I know the mayor's worked on that since he took office. Because that was right by his office. It's an eyesore, and he just he said, "Why is it like it is?" And he's worked hard to talk to a lot of people. So
I'm gonna tell you what, the mayor likes things pretty.
Well, it's just nice.
He scolds me a lot of times.
It's been an eyesore for years. It'll be nice to see that area cleaned up, and the plan, like you said, to open pave it and all that will be a nice addition to the city as well.
Yeah, we have a good group to work with the city council. They do want the city to look good. They want all the streets looking good. They want all the trash picked up, and that's that's what we strive to do. I mean, you got to. You let a garbage truck go down. You think my phone won't jump for a week, and those things happen. But we choose to remain in the garbage service because we make a little bit of money on it, and we don't have to pay that exorbitant cost to get somebody else in to pick it up.
Mike, again, appreciate you being my first guest of 2020. It's a
We
good
go
year.
a long way, Bob. Go a long way back.
I still remember walking in that first day, and I told that story. Clarence Ellis sitting there. I thought he was the chief, and he said, "No, I'm not the chief." He was a great guy. You had some good officers working for you back then.
Well, you know, we're running out of time, I'm sure, but when I was 30 years old when I was promoted to chief, I was the youngest chief in the
Chief
state.
of Police, Jessup.
There's a lot of people that walked in. When Jack Knowles and I would go on a trip, he was always the chief. Yeah. I can't believe that young guy's the chief.
Good times, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
And let's talk, the most important thing that any government body does, of course, is their budget. A lot of new businesses open up here in the city limits of Jessup. That's got to be good for y'all's budget for tax purposes as you prepare for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, we talked 2 or 3 times while we're talking here. It's all about the money, and when you get new business in town, you get new money in town, and it's all good. And we're doing a lot of stuff. We brought B-Max back. That's huge.
That is huge.
We got Arby's coming in. We got Captain D's coming in. We got Popeyes coming in. People have been on my case. Do what you got to do to get Popeyes back. Well, I can't do that. Now they're coming back. I can say, yeah, see what I did.
Yeah, what you wanna do?
Look at this.
Somebody just texted in, Mike. It says, the city of Scriven thanks Mike and all the city commissioners, staff, and the mayor of Jessup for all you do for our small town.
Well, thank you. Thank you,
Mr.
Jason.
Weaver.
I'm sorry I hadn't put in a plug for you, but he's a good guy, too. We work together. You know, they're small. They're small and don't have the equipment we have, and, it's good to do that. And, look, they do have some equipment we don't have, and they're always ready to run up here and help us if we knew it.
All right, Mike. Thanks for coming in.
Thank y'all.
All right. World famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup, right down from the Big Red Caboose, and by Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left-hand side.
Famous Butch and Bob Show.